We got the new Superman trailer. We're going to break it down. We're going to talk about some of our theories. Let's talk about it. Welcome to Legacy of Nerd. My name is Daniel, and the first official trailer of Superman just released, and we got a lot to talk about. So, starting at the beginning of the trailer, we're getting a feel of what this movie may be like. It's going to be very confrontational, very oppositional, because Superman, Clark Kent, and Lois Lane are sitting down, and he's like, why don't you interview me as Superman? And she's like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, let's do it. And we're getting that like vibe that he was expecting, like that interview with Margot Kidder and Christopher Reeve from the very first Superman movie. But no, she starts drilling into him. Like, what were you doing in this other country? Why were you interfering in this? And he was like, I was trying to stop a war. And she was like, why did you enter the country illegally? Did you talk to the president about it? And he was like, I was trying to help. And she just goes into more and more. And he was like, people were going to die. We're seeing the sort of state where Superman is at right now. Like, he's been around for a little bit, but should he be interfering in some of the things that he is interfering with, like stopping a war? Now, this war, we're not sure if we're going to be shown in the movie. Showed some clips of like a battle, but I don't know if that's the one that they are talking about specifically, because we see only like the Justice Gang in that. And so I'm not entirely sure. And we'll talk about that just a second. But yeah, she just goes into it. We're getting a very, very defensive Superman, because he's just like, I was trying to help, and he gets very, very upset. One thing about this trailer is that we see Superman get pummeled throughout this trailer. He gets pummeled by Ultraman, he gets pummeled by the Hammer of Bolivia, and he gets pummeled in his prison cell. He is not having it easy. We see him, his suit is dirty, we see him down on the floor, we see his face punched into the ground. Like, he's not having an easy go of it in this movie, it seems like. And it's weird because we know this movie's based off of All-Star Superman, and All-Star Superman is basically at his peak. He's absorbed way too much sunlight, and this is why he's dying in the comic book. He's almost like omnipotent at this point. So it is weird to see Superman in a more vulnerable state and having a harder time, but he's also supposed to be a little bit earlier in his career. I think he's supposed to be like 4 or 5 years in, maybe 3 or 4 years in. And so that makes a little bit more sense why he's still having trouble. At the same time, again, we're not used to that. We're used to Superman being able to handle every single situation, and the only thing that really gives him trouble is other Kryptonians, which is what we got in the Zack Snyder movies. So yeah, and that brings another aspect of the prison cell I want to talk about, because we see Metamorpho in there, and we see like the green glowing light, and that's clearly Kryptonite. But I'm also wondering if the red sun ray guns are going to be a thing that is coming back, or some sort of red sun device that depowers Superman, or just Kryptonite in general, just using that, because he is getting handled by like these guards, and he seems like he should be able to take those out very easily. But then again, the Kryptonite is right there in the background, and it's clearly hindering him on that as well. And get a little bit more of a look of Ultraman. He seems to be on the side of Argus and Lex Luthor. Don't know if he's specifically with Lex Luthor or Argus, because I've only seen him before with other soldiers around. But they have that like baseball park, or I think it's a baseball park scene where he's fighting the Engineer and Ultraman. And obviously Engineer is more associated with Lex Luthor. And we know that because we see Lex Luthor and the Engineer go to the Fortress of Solitude. Whole Kevin Spacey, Gene Hackman call back to that, where they go to the Fortress of Solitude. But here he looks like he's attacking, and he has the Engineer take out all those Fortress of Solitude automatons. And we finally find out what's that whole scene that we see Superman holding the robot. But in this scene, we get a cool one. We get Krypto taking out the Engineer. He just completely runs her over, and she's like not expecting it. So Krypto is going to get some fight scenes in this, which I am really, really happy to see. So the next thing I want to talk about is that Ma and Pa Kent are going to be a factor in this movie. So they've been a factor like in Lois and Clark, the animated shows, and in the comic books as well, but we've never seen them so much together in a movie. And we've never seen Pa Kent or Jonathan Kent see his son as Superman in a movie. We've only seen that on TV and in the comics. So it was cool to see that. It's cool to see like a motherly dad relationship to Superman in a movie. There's this scene where he's like laying in bed, he's clearly hurt, and they're watching over him. And yeah, it was just really cool. It was a really fun scene where he's clearly getting upset at something. I'm guessing like he's watching the TV, and Ma or Martha is like, I just cleaned your boots. I'll get them for you. She kind of looks like scared of her own son because he's so angry, but it's a cool little scene. The next thing I want to talk about is we got confirmation this morning from the toys that the team of Green Lantern, Mr. Terrific, and Hawkgirl is not going to be Justice League, but it's going to be the Justice Gang. This is going to be a funded team by Maxwell Lord, which we saw about in Peacemaker already, but they are not the Justice League. They're not Justice League International. They are the Justice Gang. We see a little bit more of them, see a little bit more of Guy Gardner's powers. We see Hawkeye flying. We see Mr. Terrific with his spears walking and him like riding it like a chair, almost like Morbius. Is it Morbius? It's not Morbius. Metron. Almost like Metron. I was thinking Morbius, but it's more like Metron. But yeah, we get a little good spots of them in there. Really cool. So the next thing I want to talk about is it looks like we're getting a distinct Clark Kent from Superman. So we're going to have a Clark Kent that is a Superman Clark Kent mesh that is around Lois Lane. We're getting a Clark Kent that is at the Daily Planet. And we're getting a Clark Kent that is at home with Ma and Pa Kent. I don't really feel like we got that distinction in Man of Steel. In Man of Steel, I think we had Superman, Kal-El, and Superman Kal-El that was Clark. And that was it. Like there was no persona at work. There was no persona that was different from Lois. And there was no persona that was different from Superman. It was all just kind of mended together. Other than him just wearing the glasses, it was very clear he was Superman. So he didn't really change much about him becoming Clark Kent. So it was really cool to see like the Clark Kent distinction from the Superman just in the trailer. So I can't wait to see that in the theater. I think this is probably the closest we're going to get to Christopher Reeve. Christopher Reeve will always be the bar. He is always the one where I can't always see the Superman in his Clark Kent, but I'm hoping that this is going to be close to that because that is something I sort of miss as well. The last thing I want to talk about is Rachel Brosnahan. She is perfectly cast as Lois Lane. She hadn't really had any speaking parts in any of the clips or trailers that we have seen so far, but this is perfect for Lois Lane. Things that we have not seen, but this is perfect. This is probably the best casting for Lois Lane that I have seen since Margot Kidder. That is just being realistic. Like I loved Erica Durance. She was awesome. Terry Hatcher. They were all awesome in their own ways. Amy Adams was different, but this just seems to me she has the look, she has the feel, she has the talk, she has the presence. This is Lois Lane to me. And that's sort of the point that I want to end on. Like this casting is really good. It's just really, really good. The only thing I ever have a little nitpick on, Nathan Fillion would have been a better Hal Jordan than a Guy Gardner, but that's just me nitpicking. But other than that, like this cast is just premier and I'm enjoying it. And I can't wait to see if the rumors of Bradley Cooper as Jor-El are true. Guys, let me know what you guys think. Did you guys enjoy the trailer? What were some of the things that you took from it? Or some things that you noticed that I didn't notice? Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and I'll see y'all next time.